Free Guy, directed by Shawn Levy, who's known for films like Real Steel, Night at the Museum, and the famous Jet Jackson movie. That's right, I f***ing said it, the famous Jet Jackson movie. And he directed 47 episodes of the show. Holy shit, man. I mean, for anyone who lived through that era, or that was your era, and you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about, the famous Jet Jackson, man, that was the damn show. Like, he was basically the only black kid on the Disney Channel who was really killing the shit, man. Like, he was like the most popular one at that time. He had music videos on the Disney Channel. So yeah, I guess that was sort of like a quick tribute to Lee Thompson Young, but that was the shit. So yeah, R.I.P. Lee Thompson Young. And the film stars Ryan Reynolds, Little Rel Howery, Jodie Corner, Joe Carey, and Taika Waititi. And Free Guy is about a bank teller called Guy who realizes he's an NPC in an open world multiplayer video game called Free City that will soon go offline at some point. So yeah, he's got to figure shit out and figure shit out quick. So I'm actually creating the review for this film, Free Guy, and the Suicide Squad basically back to back. So I'm probably gonna have a lot of the same things to say about these movies because both of them are just a shit ton of fun. But yeah, this movie is also a shit ton of fun. Just loads of random comedy. If you know Ryan Reynolds, you know how his jokes are, you know about his humor. So it's loads of just random fun and a lot of video game references, a lot of very funny, cool video game references. So if you're a gamer, there's a lot of things that you will definitely understand. It's probably gonna be hilarious. It's going to be very funny to see. If you're not a video game, if you're not a gamer, then that's cool too. I mean, you'll still understand just fine what the hell is happening. But for people who game, there's just a lot of references thrown in here for you guys that you'll catch immediately, and it'll definitely get a laugh or a chuckle out of you for sure. And of course, having Ryan Reynolds lead this cast was certainly a great idea, and he's also one of the producers as well. But the really interesting part about the inspiration behind this film is that it comes from classic 80s Amblin produced titles like Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Small Soldiers, E.T., etc. And there's really just too many to name, honestly, but those were classics, and you know, if you know, you know. And Ryan mentioned that Free Guy pulls a lot of its blueprints from those films, and it shows. You know, those movies back in the 80s and some of those in like the later 90s and even like the early 2000s, but they were specifically targeting the 80s and the 90s for those movies. And I mean, watching Small Soldiers, going back and watching Back to the Future, there's just a vibe that you get where you're just completely immersed into these movies. I mean, you care about Marty McFly, you want to know what the hell's going on. E.T., you know, the feeling that you would get watching those types of movies. I mean, there's just a vibe that you get, and they were trying to sort of hone in on that vibe and reproduce it with Free Guy. I think they honestly did. It felt really good watching this movie. So there's also a couple subplots in the film that are also going on at the same time that involves this company that created this open world game, which is owned by Taika Waititi's character, which I've forgotten his name, but Taika is killing his fucking role throughout this movie. He's just killing it. I mean, I just love Taika Waititi. I mean, I love his character in this film, and even as a person just in real life, I've never met the guy, but he just seems like he's an awesome guy, you know? So, I mean, you never know about celebrities, but Taika just seems like he could be a really cool person to meet in real life. Also, I'm a pretty big fan of What We Do in the Shadows, preferably the film and not the series, but I do enjoy the series. But Taika's actually in the movie, and he also makes a cameo as well in the show on FX, but I still prefer the movie because he's actually like in the movie. He's a main character in the film, but he just makes a cameo in the series, which is still good as well if you want to check it out. But you know, I digress. Here's my hot take though, or I think it's a hot take anyway. Free Guy is going to be the top comedy film for all ages this year. I honestly don't see any film in that category beating it. I mean, the Suicide Squad is probably going to come really close, but I still think Free Guy probably has it in the comedy category. I could be wrong because the Suicide Squad is really fucking funny as well, but personally, I think Free Guy might have it. I don't know, it's close. You guys let me know what you think down below. But the rewatchability here is fairly high, especially if you are one of those people who isn't annoyed by Ryan Reynolds and you actually enjoy his humor and performances. Also, this might be my favorite performance from Little Rel so far in his career. I've never truly found him to be that funny in anything, although he's always the comedic relief in basically everything he's in. I just don't tend to find him to be that funny. funny. But he's pretty good in Free Guy, and actually quite funny in my opinion. He did really well in this movie. So while I'm at it, there's actually something I also wanted to bring up, so we could probably discuss it down in the comments below. So I'm a fan of John Campea, and I watched his out of the theater reaction to Free Guy, and I know that he mentioned that this movie really isn't a video game movie. So, and I disagree with that, honestly. A big fan of John Campea, by the way. I watch a lot of his videos. If he sees this video, John, I'm a huge fan. I was just curious, and I had I have a take on what he said, or what you said, if you're watching this anyway. But personally, I believe that Free Guy is a video game movie. Unless a video game film is defined as a movie that's only based off of one particular video game movie. But there are a lot of video game references in this movie, and it's a lot of things that only gamers will understand for the most part. I think someone who doesn't game can watch this film. They'll still have fun, but they really won't know exactly what a lot of this shit means, especially like teabagging a character, like teabagging someone playing Call of Duty and you teabag another player, or being a troll. Like, that's a lot of different lingo that someone who doesn't really game. I mean, you could be an internet person and still understand the troll, but what it means to be a troll in a game, I don't know if people will really capture that if you don't game, or if you're not really like an internet person like that. So yeah, but anyway, like I said, there's video game references all over this movie. I mean, it touches on so many video game references and things that I think that only people who game are really gonna understand. But like I said, anyone can watch this movie and have a good time with it. You do not have to be a gamer to understand what's going on. So I don't know, is that what makes it not a video game movie, because people can watch it and understand? But there's, like I said, there's a lot of aspects of the film that people can see and still really not understand what the hell is going on in the movie. They'll just know that they're having a good time while watching it. But yeah, there's that. But anyway, it feels like a video game movie to me. Anyone who disagrees, or you're not quite sure, just comment down below and let's talk about it. Also, I think it's executed definitely better than most video game movies or films that are based on video games. It might be the best movie that actually utilizes a lot of video game references in a film. Like, you have Ready Player One, but this probably destroys, I mean, in my opinion, it destroys Ready Player One. But like I said, let's talk about it down below. I would love to know if you guys agree or disagree about that, or what your thoughts are, period. So I'm giving Free Guy a 9 out of 10. There's so many moments packed with humor, action, and just sheer randomness that I don't see how you couldn't enjoy this movie if you were excited for the trailers. There's even some real life messages and motivation that people can take from this film as well. I mean, the movie actually gets surprisingly emotional at times. I mean, they don't stay there because it's more of a comedy film, definitely. But there's some things that they touch on that I honestly feel like will hit people's heartstrings and even just hit emotions. And if you're dealing with certain things in life, it'll definitely make you think a lot deeper about the messaging in this movie. Even Ryan Reynolds even mentioned that, during the pandemic, he wanted to create something for audiences to be able to watch because of things just being in such a downer state with like everything just going on in the world. And he wanted this film to sort of be that thing that uplifts people or just brings some sort of laughter. And you get that from this movie for sure. But anyway, Free Guy releases next week, only in theaters next Friday, August 13th. But there you have it. And if you enjoyed the content, you know what to do. Thank you for watching.